Hey everybody, Kelly here. Today we have a dual panel quilt project. That's what I'm going to call it. I have just started. I just started pulling my fabrics and I'm hoping that this turns out really well because I like both of these panels and I want both sides of this quilt to turn out really, really pretty. I hope. Alright, now I'm getting started on cutting, and the first thing I need to do is make sure that my panels are going to be the same size. Also that they're trimmed down nicely so that I can start framing them with other fabrics. Make sure I'm getting a square cut here. So 30, and puts it a little over an inch away from the wording. So let's try a little over an inch away on this side. Why do I think that's gonna be not enough? An inch away from that one. I think this word might be the furthest one out, but let me double check the back side and make sure. Yep, that looks pretty evenly lined up. That one might be out a little farther. It looks like it's about in there. So I think the C is the furthest one out, so. Plus what I'm going for here is I got something on this fabric, so I'm trying to kind of cut that out, but still stay not too close to the wording. Alright, and I'm on the wrong side, so I'm not going to make a very good cut here, but keep trying to move my hand. I should have just turned the panel, but I think I did okay. Alright, and then at the top, I just need to make sure to cut enough off the top and bottom, but I don't want to cut too much. So, by the way, I should have told you, this is actually from the Cultivate Kindness collection by Deb Strain for Moda. So that's what this panel is, and I think the fabrics that I'm going to put with it are from, give me 1 second, panel fabrics I'm going to put with it are from a variety of places. Maywood Studios, I can't see what the other one is. A couple of these, the flowered ones that I'm going to put with that spring panel there are from the collection Lanai by Maywood Studios. And then the fall panel that I have is actually from Timeless Treasures, and the fabrics I'm going to put with that are actually also from Deb Strain, and they're called under the collection Happy Fall. So it's funny because this is the spring panel I'm going to use with the fall collection to go with the fall panel from a different company. I'm not saying that correctly. What I mean to say is this is by Deb Strain. It's the spring collection, or for a spring quilt that I'm going to do by Deb String with other fabrics around it from another designer. And the panel for the back, which is a fall panel, is by Timeless Treasures, and the fabrics I'm going to put around it are by Deb String. So I don't apparently have fabrics for the Cultivate Kindness collection, but I do have them for the Happy Fall collection. So anyhow, it's a weird sort of mesh in this quilt. The front parts of pieces and parts of the front and back are from the same designer, but then I've mixed in other designers. Alright, so let's see. I don't want to cut it down too much, so let's go with 21.5. Scoot that out of the way. Put my ruler on the line. Come down here to the end and cut it. So 21.5 makes it 43 inches. Let's see, I have to think about that for a second. So 8 to 30 makes it 22 wide by 43 high. Yeah, I can't do the math on that right now. Trying to think of the math for the pieces that I want to put around it, but I can't think of that right now. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut the other panel on my own, and when I get done, they will both be 22 by 43. Well, I've got the beginning of a plan here, just the very beginning of a quick, rough idea of what I want to do with these panels. So I would like to make them lap quilt size. So in order to do that, because panels are so long and so narrow, I'm actually going to start with 4-inch strips on the sides and then a 2-inch strip across the top and bottom. The next set then I think will actually be, I'm going to try to do like the same print on the corners, and then a different print in the middle, same print on the corners, something along that line anyhow. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and cut my 4-inch strips and my 2-inch strips and get started on the first round on this panel. So this is kind of the idea that I'm going with for right now. However, I just realized after I got done pinning things up there, it may change a little bit just because it would have made my life easier had I put the small 4-inch pieces, sorry. Had I put the small pieces on the opposite corners. So you can see on the top right hand side there I have a short piece of the aqua color, and then on the bottom left hand corner I have a short piece. If I would have done those totally the opposite, I saved myself a lot of trouble because I could literally just sew the 3 strips together, sew them onto the panel, and then cut it off at the bottom, which is what I'm going to do. So this is going to change up a little bit. And so where I have the really long piece on this side here at the top, that's actually going to end up being the short piece. And then down here at the bottom, that'll be a longer aqua piece. And then vice versa on the other side. Just because that makes life easier for me. And then the middle row, I will actually sew the strips so that they're sewed onto the center piece. And then I'll just cut them off at whatever, I'll center up the center piece and then cut off the top and bottom wherever I need to. And then I'll do the opposite with the outside row so that they don't match up, which is kind of how I have them laid out right now, but they're overlapping each other a little funny and whatnot. And you can probably see at the very top and the bottom, I have to have 2 other little scraps to put in there to make the middle strip work. But I will have a couple when I have to cut the first couple of 2-inch strips to make them fit. They're a little bit long, so I'm going to have to cut a couple inches off of a couple of those strips. So I'll have no problem then just inserting that into the middle strip there. But yeah, that's kind of the idea, and we'll see how it turns out. I'll probably bring it back once I have it all sewed together, and I may change up something in between, but I think I'll probably just bring it back when I've got it all put together. Alright, so part of doing this the simple, easy, no math way is that I have literally taken the sides and just sewn my strip sets together and cut them off at the end. So I should have on the left hand side here, I have my short piece because it's where it got cut off when I sewed this end on, and then on the right hand side here, the bottom will be the short piece. So there's that, and then the other easy way to do the strips along the top and bottom is to actually fold my piece in half, and I just folded my panel in half and found the center and then put the center of my strip piece along that, and then for my second piece on the top and bottom here, I actually have to have a scrappy piece in the center. And so I'm just going to find the center on that particular piece and then match it up with the center right here. And I'm trying to keep my pieces going in the correct direction. So I'm trying to have my corners actually be the same fabrics. So that is kind of another concern right here with this one, is actually getting my orange plaid to match up. The first strips that I did, it did not, and it really bothered me, so it didn't bother me enough to fix it, but it kind of bothered me, so I'm going to try to avoid that with this one. If I can't, I'm not going to worry about it too much, but especially because I really need this to be centered more than anything, and having already messed up my other plaid, I'm more concerned about centering this piece. But it looks like this is actually going to come out pretty well. I may do a little bit of a tug to get it to match a little better, but hopefully you can actually see this in the camera. I can't quite tell what you're seeing right now, so it's going to be probably a hair off, but I think I can give it just a little bit of a tiny bit of a tug on the bottom there, and then those patches should match up really well. And then I'll just kind of have to fake it along the way and hope that it doesn't have too much of a pucker. But that's the simple, easy, no math way of centering a strip. And then I'm not pinning so I'm just trying to line up here. Get started, make sure my seam is folded the right way. So, not a lot of accuracy in this one, but trying to make it easy but still come out to be visually appealing. So yeah, I'm going to have a tiny bit of extra on the bottom from top part. Hopefully I can just give this top part a slight tug. And come up with enough to make it match in the center. So I'm coming up on my pin here, pull my pin, keep my fingers right there to try to keep it matched up. Let's take a look here. Alright, so I think my center's pretty good. And I think I matched up pretty well. It's not... it's pretty close to perfect. That's a little bit... I wish that color would have matched up with the turquoise there, but... that's a tiny, tiny little fraction of a thing compared to the other corner. Let me show you the other corner. So this kind of bothers me, but not enough to worry about fixing it yet. So trying to go for quick and easy and colorful, and that's not going to be enough to bother me. So fall side complete, so what should we do for the spring side? Let's see. Alright, so some of my fabrics are backwards. That's awesome. Put that down in the center. Or should I go ahead and do it like the other side? Hard to figure. Well, let's try it out. Do a similar style to the other side and see what I get. Again, scrap there in the center. Find that in a little bit, and honestly, I may just go with cutting this down. Sure, I just took the pin out, but I don't know. I was trying to figure out how much I put under there. Honestly, okay, that's not going to be enough. Let me find another piece. So we'll put this one here. Something kind of like that. And then we need a third row. So let's do blue on opposite corners. That's gonna match up now. Let's do this and split the difference. Just go about an inch. Okay, and put this one. Okay, so not exactly sure this is how it's going to stay. I did have this larger flower print on the corner there, and a larger flower print on the corner here, but when I stood back and looked at it, I thought there was something funny because I realized what was happening was that I have the same print on the outside as I do on the inside, and the same print on the inside as I do on the outside. So those two corners were the same print right here and here, and then these two corners were different prints. And so I thought that was kind of not, it was giving me a weird, like, oh, okay, I need, if these two corners are the same, I need these two corners to have the two prints be the same. But now that I'm looking at it, it's like, I don't know if I really like that or not. I kind of liked having the flower next to the blue. So, I don't know. I don't know that it's going to stay this way, but we'll see. And when I go to sew on these strips here, the extra pink will actually go for filling in the scrap. Actually, I'm going to fill it in between the two blues. And then a scrap here in the center pieces on that 2-inch strip. So, and if everything works out good, well, I should have exactly the same size top as I do. I should have this, I don't know which one will be the top, right? I should have exactly the same size for this panel as I do for the other panel that I finished. Because it's really the same exact layout. Same size panel, same size strips, same layout. Yeah. So, here's hoping. Okay, so yeah, I do like the floral print on the corners better, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Partly because these strips were a little bit longer than the other ones, and so I don't have to do a scrappy piece in this strip here. So I like that. I will still have to come up with a tiny little scrap for those two little spots there, but that won't be any problem. I got plenty left from this piece here. Yeah, I think this is what I'm going with. Okay, well, slight problem. I sewed my strips together in the wrong order and didn't notice it until I'd already sewed on the... I not only sewed my strips in the wrong order, but I also sewed them on to the rest of the panel in the wrong order. I should have actually, you just saw, this color was in the center, and this should have matched up here. And I think the same on this side. I think I had the blue and anyhow, and then this matching up down there, and this matching up here. So I got these strips sewn together the wrong direction, and also I sewed this onto the panel without thinking about it. I trimmed it down. Why did I trim this piece off? And so once I had started to make the cut, I was kind of committed then, so I just made the cut, but then that's when it clicked. As I was halfway through cutting it, it clicked that I should have sewed the sides on first and then the top and bottom. I don't know what I was tired probably. And anyhow, it's gonna be fine. It's a very scrappy little top. It just doesn't quite have the same pattern that it would have had I sewed it in the way that I had it lined up a second ago. But anyhow, it's still nice, still scrappy. I could potentially fix it, rip it all apart, and I could have fixed it before I put the sides on even, but I just decided it's a nice scrappy top, it's fine. And actually not always going to be the top either, so there you go. I am also noticing that I should probably follow my instincts a little bit more when I said earlier that I like the flower prints, like the flowers with the flowers, but I was not real sure about. So like this print right here, I don't know that it's showing up very well on camera, but it has a kind of beige, creamy tone to the backing. But this one has a little bit of blue in it. And then this one is very, very white. And so I'm not in love with how gray, cream, beige tone this is in the background, and then how white that strip is. I kind of wish I would have gone ahead and looked through my stash and found something a little bit different. I still like them. I still like the flowers. I'm still okay with the blue, even though, again, it's one of these where I look at it a little bit more as it's done and go, this is very blue, and this is very teal, and this is very olive, and this is very blue. It actually is a green blue, but compared to these two, it's not really the right color. But it's very spring. Still very pretty. I still like it. I just don't love it necessarily. One other thing I was going to tell you that I'm not necessarily in love with is the fact that I'm looking through my stash for a half second. I literally looked over there for a half second and found something and went, why didn't I use that? So I step over this side. You know, that's probably why I'm I'm not aggravated necessarily, and I'm not liking it still, but I'm not quite as in love with it as I was, just because I kind of found a fabric that I really wish I would have used this instead. But I do still like this print. It's just not necessarily love it. It's just, but I like it well enough, so there's that. Alright, well, anyhow, and I did actually manage to make them match up. Well, obviously I made them match up. They're the same size strips, so it is kind of odd though that I sewed this wrong, and yet somehow it's still all come out the same. I guess I must have had extra long strip on the sides, and that's why it matched up fine. So now I'm just gonna sandwich it all together, and then the real question is, how do I quilt this? How do I quilt that to this? And I think the answer is actually very simple. It's going to be probably a crosshatch. Or I guess the answer is very simple. It's just a plain edge to edge. It's not, so if I were just doing this print here, I probably would have put some quilting around, highlighted these with some quilting around them, and then done an edge to edge in the border. But that's not going to work when this is the back or is the other side. So it's got to be an edge to edge or crosshatch, you know, just something all over that's going to blend really nicely. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to do a plain crosshatch. I might actually do it diagonal. I don't know if I want to take that on right now or not. Not that it's that hard, but I don't know, the straight line, horizontal, vertical. I'm not sure that I would really love that with how straight line this is. So I'll have to think about it a little bit, but I'm going to end up with some kind of all over meander, crosshatch, something like that. Whereas normally, like I said with the other panel, my instinct would be on this panel to kind of highlight in and do some quilting in and around, but it's not going to work for the other side. So yeah. All right, well, I am not likely to get this one done very quickly, so you may be seeing the video without it as a finished project. Sorry about that, but, and actually as far as the binding, I've been kind of thinking instead of that stripe that I was showing earlier, that I may actually use this right here. I think that'll work for both sides. And in fact, I think I like it better than, I just wanted to make sure earlier that I had something that I thought I was gonna like with it. But I actually like this one better. So, and I think I have just enough to make the binding for this. So I have more than this strip, but just enough. Not quite hung up yet, but there's the one side. And we'll take a look at the other. I haven't quite got the lines washed off of it yet either, but when I get it washed, this will be my favorite side. Love fall. Alright, thanks for watching.